Hi everybody, I'm not a financial advisor, and today we are looking at Bonfire token. So let's get right into it. Bonfire token is one that's available on the Binance Smart Chain, and it's described here on their website as being a frictionless yield generating contract that allows you to seek shelter amidst the chaos of the market. Very well put, I think. And anyway, so you can see here their slogan is "Stay cozy with Bonfire," and you're going to see why when we talk a little bit more about this token. That slogan is just very fitting. So, Bonfire came out early May 2021 is when I first heard about it myself. And what happened was I saw somebody mention Bonfire in one of the comments below a Safemoon video I was watching, I think. So that's what I first heard about Bonfire, was through just one of these random comments, which I highly encourage, by the way. If you have any tokens that you're very enthusiastic about, have faith in, please feel free to comment away. Let me know what's a good token, okay? Because it leads me to some good ones, some not so good ones, but it's a great way to find them out. Anyway, back to Bonfire here. So with Bonfire, I invested a couple bucks in it back in early May. I think I got somewhere around 1 billion tokens for my couple dollar investment because it was just dirt cheap. And you're going to see why. First and foremost, it being a new coin, you got to go to PancakeSwap or one of the other exchanges that just very recently began listing Bonfire token available. I personally use PancakeSwap. I'm pretty comfortable with it, and I think if you practice enough, you will be too. If you take a look down here, we start getting into the tokenomics. Tokenomics is something that I think probably everybody who's watching this video is somewhat familiar with, thanks to, again, Safemoon. That familiarized a large portion of the crypto world, I think, into how tokenomics work. But I think that Bonfire may have addressed a couple of the issues that the Safemoon team had run into, and it was just funny because they really kind of came up around the same time, and Bonfire did a lot of things better than Safemoon, but Safemoon still just has that community backing, and that's what drives it to this day, I truly do believe. So the tokenomics, I don't need to say much. There's an astronomically high amount of these tokens, 30% of which are burned, but again, that's at this point in time practically meaningless. I mean, they're just not really worth anything right now. You do have the 10% tax on transactions, which we're again used to. 5% to holders, 5% to liquidity. Real simple stuff. You profit from holding, which means you get Bonfire tokens. It's great if they're worth something, and it's just kind of entertaining to look at if they're not, because it's nice to see you have 1 billion of something or 1 million of something, right? I mean, I hope everybody has $1 million, but I'd wager that that's probably not the case at this point in time for most of us. So until that day comes, fun to look at high numbers, even if they're kind of meaningless. Anyway. Bonfire, moving down here, we see they were so kind as to include looks like a 6-step process on how to purchase on PancakeSwap, which I think they're aware most folks are going to be doing that over the couple of exchanges that they're on so far. So moving on down the line here, we see that the Bonfire team included a lot of important links to both their white paper, their audit, their roadmap. All of the links do work. I'm not going to click into each and every one of them. You can, go out here and explore on your own time, take your time and look into it further. But again, to my general overview, the external audit, I think, is one of the biggest and probably most successful moves they made early on. Is they got this audit done early, and they got good results. And I think that that's what helped things to move along back in May. And to make matters better for them, they had a really, really spectacular first AMA. The team was super enthusiastic and made a lot of sense, and they were professional. And that did push the price up for a couple of days. We seen it go up, and And then a few things transpired that drove it back down. Not uncommon for these tokens, but yeah, it's a little frustrating to holders, of course, because a lot of these mistakes that are made that cause the price to drop are easily avoidable. I think the biggest contributor was a bad second AMA that they had. So, hey, we all make mistakes. I still have faith in Bonfire token, hence why I still hold somewhere around 1.5 billion of these tokens. So, take it for what it's worth, guys, girls. Don't worry too much about these details. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose. I mean, it's the same mantra you hear everywhere because it's just true. So, moving on to the team, Bonfire team. So, we got a whole bunch of doxed professionals here. I mean, you name it, and they've covered the bases. We have this gentleman here by the name of Tyler Ashton. I'm not super familiar with this gentleman. However, I do know that he pulls in about, I think, 3 million subs on TikTok, I want to say. Again, not super familiar with him and his content, but never hurts to have that kind of exposure, hopefully in the very near future for this token. I don't know how they're going to promote it, but that's part of what's fun is waiting to see what happens. It's patience. Patience is key. But you have all these folks, they're all doxed. They have nothing to hide. That's beautiful. They don't have access to the tokens that are locked up in liquidity. That's pretty cool. It definitely makes you feel more secure. But again, they did make the mistake of that AMA. And that's all it takes for some people to be convinced that you're running a scam and sell off their shares. So, you walk a very, very tight line with these tokens. But let's take a look here at the price real quick over on CoinMarketCap. So as we can see over the last 24 hours, slightly up. But when you take a look at the year, what can be said? Let's take a look at that little spike I was telling you about a little bit earlier. Now, luckily, I was invested whenever that spike took place. I got to watch the price go up. I think at one point I was around $1,300, and that was exciting to see. But again, as the charts show, very short-lived, and I think the price could have continued to increase had the AMA not been so bad, had the FUD not started circulating as hard as it was. I mean, it just, sadly enough as it was, I think the same thing that helped this token succeed so early on was the same thing that ended up killing it later. I think like myself and probably some other folks looked at this as almost like a clone of Safemoon, but one that aimed to do things better. And man, oh man, like where they learned and improved, it was great, but they dropped the ball with a couple things and, it ended up hurting them. But again, this coin's young. I think it has potential. It's probably not going to be next week, not next month, maybe next 10 years. We'll see some profit here. So Bonfire token, as I was moving over to Twitter here, you can see that they do have a pretty decent following, 63,000 followers. That's commendable for some of these coins. If you look at some of these tokens that have been around for a while, they struggle to get people to go ahead and follow them and retweet them and support them on different social media platforms. Bonfire does not seem to be struggling too much with that, which is very good news. You can see here, I love this, eco-friendly. They threw that one in there, I'm sure, as a little bit of a response to Elon Musk's condemning comments about Bitcoin not being eco-friendly and all that stuff. So I like that they're following the news, the trends, and they're trying to keep on top of it. They really are putting effort into this, and you'll see that. But like it says in this description here, the whole purpose of this token is to create a social media platform by the name of Firestarter. Now, Firestarter will be the platform. Bonfire tokens will be the native currency, and there's going to be an NFT marketplace where you buy, sell, and trade, I guess, share, whatever these different NFTs. So, it's a dime a dozen in the NFT marketplace these days. So many of these coins are all just basically following the same model with little variances here and there. So, again, do your own research on what you want to do with this one. But for me, that seemed fine. I seen where this team is keeping their finger on the pulse, and I see where they're really putting in effort to try to make themselves stand out amongst all these other coins and all this other competition. So that's important to me. Hopefully it is to you guys too. Hopefully you can leave me some comments and let me know what your thoughts are on Bonfire, whether you support it, whether you did support it and you felt like you got burned by the Bonfire. No pun intended. I'm a dad. I make really, really bad jokes here. So please bear with me on that. And let me also say that if you have tokens that you're hearing about, interesting stories to share with experiences that you've had, really, really love to hear about that. Please comment down below. Let me know what it is. I'll read it. Maybe we'll talk about it in another video in the future. But in the meantime, guys, this was a very, very high level overview of Bonfire as a token, as what their goals are. Again, you're going to want to go do some further research into it, but I think the information that I shared here today gives you a pretty decent overview. And that's all that I aim to do here, as I want to talk to you about these coins, share my experiences that I've had with them, investing in them, because I don't like to talk about coins that I don't have money in myself, only because I feel like there's not a lot of passion there. There's a lot of speculation, and there's a lot of research maybe that folks would put into it, but there's just not that passion, the feeling. You feel the dips, and you feel the ride to the top when things rocket, and it's great, but that's gambling, and that's investing in the crypto world. So hopefully you all share the same sentiment. And again, I really look forward to engagement with everybody who watches this video and my future videos that I'll be putting out on different tokens and coins. And, I'm not somebody who's ashamed to admit when I'm wrong. Obviously, I was, wrong to not invest in Bitcoin 10 years ago. Even though I didn't know what it was still not the right move. But you know what? I did invest in Dogecoin, so I made money there when it was still about 5 cents a share. And, that's just how the market is. So I hope and I pray that every single one of you out there becomes a millionaire and does very, very well. And if you're invested in Bonfire, again, shout it out. I'm enthusiastic over it. And thanks again for watching, everybody. Not a financial advisor here.